Hey guys, how are y'all doing? I want to do a little video about Ouija versus tarot. Now, those of you who are in the more metaphysical, new age, spiritual movement, you already know there's a huge difference, right? But I have worked many circles, many spheres, okay? I have been with the ultra religious. I grew up in a conservative Christian family. Um, Very difficult to, be constantly told my intuition was wrong, past lives don't exist, and telepathy isn't real, and all the stuff I was constantly told really suppressed my gifts. And as a result, I had a woman tell me when I was maybe 19 or so that I was a natural channel, and it runs in the family, and if you don't embrace your psychic abilities, it's going to come out stronger in your kids. And I've tried, but then I'd struggle with guilt. And I would try and then struggle with guilt because I was so brainwashed by this religious belief that I was wrong. Even though really more of what, psychic intuitives do is a lot more along the lines of what Christ did, but somehow we're the problem, right? Because Christianity, religions are more of a political movement, but they can't see it because they're so duped by the powers that be to actually believe that they're doing what Jesus wants them to do whenever all he did was fight the established religion, okay? But anyway, okay, so the thing is religious movements, other circles, you have the paranormal circles. It's so funny because I can jump into so many, rabbit holes with this. So I really have been wanting to do this channel. Not getting many views yet, of course, and I gotta find the right title, the right thing to start getting some hits so people can enjoy the other videos that I'm doing, because I've been, say the paranormal circle. There's like the cryptid circle. Like this, I got this at a Bigfoot festival, right? They all have kind of like biases, and they all don't know. Like a lot of the cryptid circles don't really believe, and I've actually met flat out Bigfoot hunters that won't believe in ghosts. And I'm like, you believe in Bigfoot, but you don't believe in ghosts. And they're like, well, I've seen a Bigfoot. And I'm like, okay, you believe this fuzzy picture of a leaf is a Bigfoot's nipple. Yeah, just told me that that's a Bigfoot nipple. And I asked you, did you actually see the Bigfoot? And you're like, no, I just took this picture and I'm assuming this fuzzy thing is a nipple. And I'm like, the fuck, dude? Are you kidding me? You're so deluded you believe every fuzzy picture is a different shape of a Bigfoot, right? Don't get me wrong, I believe in Bigfoot. I've seen cryptids, okay? But the thing is like cryptid people kind of disassociate from certain paranormal people and blah blah blah. Because of that, if you're not in a metaphysical circle, the new age spiritual circle, a lot of people have this misconception that tarot and oracle cards is the same thing as Ouija. Like nothing could be further from the truth. Not even close, okay? I think I've even heard some people in the whole Warren sphere, people that have worked with Ed and Lorraine Warren and stuff. Like one guy, I had heard some guy in an interview saying he's worked with them, and they know that people that mess with tarot and people that mess with Ouija invite spirits in and demons in, and that's what gets them haunted and all this stuff, right? I've heard my own mom say things like, oh, well, tarot is yeah, they consult spirits. I'm sitting here like, oh God, Mom, I've been doing tarot for years. I don't fucking consult spirits, okay? I will explain this. When you watch many of us tarot readers, because I'm eventually going to do a video on why I began doing tarot readings on YouTube, okay? And it's strange because especially Christians that judge tarot, I'm thinking they don't really read the Bible, do they? Or if they do, it's with a really closed mind where they don't really, they read it, but it's just like Jesus said. They read it, but they have eyes and cannot see. They have ears and they cannot hear. I have blocked it from them because they're not ready to receive it. There's other parts of the Bible that says, I have to give you spiritual milk because you're babies. And then there's another part where Jesus himself is like, I can't talk to y'all about heavenly things and spiritual things. You can hardly handle the things on earth. Okay? Come on now. If you rewind back to ancient Israel, they had the Urim and the Thummim, okay? That was like an alpha and an omega, a yes and a no. It was an oracle, okay? An oracle. They consulted it before they even went to war. Would you call that superstitious today? Would you call that very similar to using tarot and oracle cards, where you consult something to get answers? Some Christians would beg to say, well, they were only asking the Holy Spirit and you're asking random spirits. Says who? Most tarot readers you hear say spirit. When I talk to spirit, some of them talk about spirit guides. Okay, let's go there. Okay, a lot of Christians also have the misconception of, well, you're a medium and you have a familiar spirit. Familiar spirits are bad. You're going to hell. Okay, let's go there. If you look in the Bible, read it thoroughly, you would understand. We kind of misuse the word angel a lot. That's my name, by the way. Even in like the New Testament, the way they translate a lot of what Jesus said, they see the word angel is really kind of a mistranslation, because angel is more of a messenger. What we have, and it says it in the Old Testament, we all are assigned ministering spirits in heaven. Ministering spirits in heaven. We have heavenly spirits around us at all times. They guide us, they guard us, they protect us. We call them angels in the Christian religion, but they're spirits, okay? They can be your ancestors, they can be loved ones that have passed on, they can be saints, they can be what we call angels that have never been human. They're just guarding us. They were created specifically to watch over us, okay? This is what spirit guides are meant to be. The difference in between a ministering spirit from heaven, aka spirit guides, and a familiar spirit. A familiar spirit is an unevolved, non-crossed over, earthbound spirit who is actually bringing information to a psychic, medium, channel, or intuitive for the wrong reasons, to get ahead. I think there is one example of that in the New Testament. What these earthbound spirits do, I can't do because I don't have a familiar spirit. Now let me tell you what a familiar spirit can do. Since they are earthbound and they have no desire to do the highest good, if I was a negative or an evil psychic, I could ask, hey, yo, familiar spirit Joe, I want you to go over to my parents' house, to my ex-husband's house, or to so-and-so's house, spy on them and tell me what they're doing and bring it back to me. That is what familiar spirits will do. They're like spirit spies, and they do what's in the best interest of them. They like to precariously live through a person. And usually, like, you can eventually spot certain people that use familiar spirits instead of spirit guides because they know stuff they shouldn't know. That is negative, way too much, and is always for their, like, selfish gain. You know what I mean? To get money. Like, they would be the ones to be more likely to win the lottery than a psychic who's doing things for the highest good of all. Because if you have spirit guides in heaven, they are not ever going to give you the lottery number. They might actually whisper in your ear and say, honey, you should go buy a ticket today. It's your day. But they're not going to sit there and say, this is what you need to do to get your money. Like, completely different thing, okay? Tarot, oracle cards, works on the law of one. We are all one. We all know all. It's just not conscious, okay? Most of the time, tarot doesn't tell you anything you don't already know. It's just reflecting back to you because most of us have been so gaslit, so deceived by a very collective narcissistic society. Okay, have you ever seen any animal under the face of the sun that lies more than a human? right? I mean, from a very young age, we were brought to school. We were taught by our parents, like, you know, one minute there's Santa Claus and the next minute there's not. And then one minute you just sit down or shut up and do what you're told. The next minute, like, we don't believe in bullies here. I mean, we are consistently gaslit. We are consistently lied to, okay? Because of that, many of us lose track of our intuition and our instinct. We are consistently beat down and told what is true is not, and what is not true is. And so because we have lost track of the truth, sometimes we need something to get us back on track. That is what tarot is for, okay? It doesn't tell us anything we don't already really know in our subconscious. And because we're all one, we're all interconnected, we don't have to use any familiar spirits for tarot to work. You don't even have to talk to any spirits for it to work. The way us who are psychic intuitives, at least with me, some people are a bit cuckoo out there and they really got this whole living conversation with all of their spirit guides to the point where it's somewhat delusional, okay? My Druid Animal Oracle cards even talk about that. It talks about that in the Air Dragon reversed, okay? Many Oracle and Tarot cards will actually make fun of you and point out to you when you were using them too much, when you're using them for the wrong reasons, when you're acting the fool. Okay, Solomon himself said a wise counsel needs to be like addressed before you go to war, okay? We don't have wise counsel today. When you open a tarot deck, when you have a whole deck of tarot cards, you have a shit ton of counselors. They're all archetypes. They all represent different types of energy. They reflect back to you what you have been so like narcissistically fogged out of seeing. Fog, fear, obligation, guilt. These are narc tactics that especially religious people use to stump your intuitive abilities, okay? A lot of people will call tarot divination. You can, you know. They never call the Urim and the Thummim divination in the Bible, did they? To me, I feel like divination can go one of two ways. If you do not feel like you are a divine being and you're trying to manipulate what you think is the divine to get knowledge that you don't have the right to get, that's kind of like a wonky negative divination, isn't it? But if you know you're a divine being, you know that you are, you know that the Holy Spirit's in you, you know you're the temple of the Spirit, there's like, everything is divine, everything is divination, everything is holy, everything is sacred. You know, it even says in the Bible, to those who are impure, everything is impure. To those who are pure, everything is pure. Everything is okay for us. Nothing is off limits for us who are in the Spirit. Not everything is beneficial. We have to do what's good for us, what we're called to, what we have faith in. What you don't have faith in is a sin. What you do have faith in is okay. I've read the entire Bible more than once. I know what's in there, okay? And I have so many fucking pastors and religious people out there like messing with your heads, okay? If you guys don't understand, the organized religious church has really driven to try to suppress our power. So we never become like Christ, okay? We wouldn't need tarot or anything else. We wouldn't need to do what they call natural magic or rituals or anything else if we really were tapped into source the way Christ was. You know, if you ever have a religious person coming to you and saying like, you know, you're bad and you're evil because of A, B, C, D. If they can't do what Jesus did, they're out, okay? Jesus said, if you believe in me, you can do even greater things than me. If you see these religious judgmental Christians, you know what they call that in Revelation? The accuser of the brethren? That's Satan. That's Satan, okay? So many religious people live literally invoking Satan, constantly accusing other people of not being good enough, okay? And the funny thing is instead of them being busy accusing other people of not being good enough, why don't they get busy actually using their power? That's what Jesus said to do, you know? I don't care how you can do it, just do it. Just get busy doing it. You know, those who are not against us are for us, right? Get busy doing it, you know? Just do it. Do the fucking work. Be a spiritual freaking adult for once, you know? Don't sit on your knees and beg, 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 beg for something to happen. Be a spiritual adult. Okay, now, if you look in the Bible, you can even go to, I think it's Numbers chapter 5. If I'm wrong, I have to look. But Moses flat out does like black magic, man. I don't even like it. I can't believe he did it. It was a curse, flat out curse. Only to women, because of course they're patriarchal and, misogynistic. I love that Jesus came and set women free in so many ways, because in his culture and day and age, women were second class citizens, But it was a curse for women who were cheating on their husband, that if she was cheating, her legs would give out and all this stuff. Okay, he wrote the curse down on paper and then burnt it. And come on, guys. Any of you guys who know modern witchcraft, I don't care if it's hoodoo, voodoo, paganism, Wicca, you name it. You guys know that this is witchcraft, okay? Burnt it, mixed it with water and dust from the floor of the temple, and made her drink it. That is black magic. That is a curse. That is bad. That is negative shit. So I don't want to hear, any Christians telling me what we are and aren't supposed to do. Moses did black magic. I don't believe in doing black magic. I can't even imagine it. But he did. He flat out did. Christians don't want to see it. Moses was freaking Merlin, man. He was the Merlin of the Bible. He had a freaking staff. He did all kinds of magic, okay? I mean, look at the Magi. What do you think Magi were? Come on, people. Like, I know those of you that are into metaphysics, I know you guys know this. I know you guys understand that the age of Aries, the age of Taurus is all in the Bible. And then Jesus ushered in Pisces, and his symbol is a fish. He most likely was born in the month of Pisces. He's most likely born, I think, in spring, according to the way the stars were designed then. Some people have different theories. He most certainly was not born on December 25th. The old Julian calendar, December 25th is what is the solstice for us now, to the 21st, 22nd. And the Christmas tree, where Christians try to say, we use a Christmas tree because it represents everlasting life, and those stupid pagans in the Bible used an oak tree. I'm sorry to tell you, but pagans in Scandinavia and even certain parts of the Celtic societies did use the evergreen for Yule. You have a pagan tree up in your house, and you're judging me for tarot. Congrats. Now, let's get on to what Ouija is. Ouija is invoking a séance, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You are actually asking earthbound spirits to communicate with you. This can be dangerous, okay? I've got like ringing in my ear now. Ooh, this is a sign for sure, okay? Here's the thing, okay? What makes Ouija boards a bit more dangerous than, say, paranormal equipment, like using a phone app where a ghost can speak words in the phone app, or using an EVP, or using an EMF detector, or using a REM pod, or any motion sensor stuff, is that there's a seance level to it when you are putting your hand on the Ouija and asking the spirit to also put its hand on that. Do you see what I'm saying? It gets to the point where you're crossing the line and asking a spirit to come way too closely into your circle. And even paranormal equipment, like apps that ghosts can put words in and stuff, I would not do in your house. Like, don't invite spirits into your house by doing that. I love paranormal investigations. I would love to go do them elsewhere. Okay, people that do it in their house, I think are batshit crazy. Like, I guess because I not only a natural channel, but it's like the way this woman described it, is that, I'm a light and spirits are drawn to me. And I've had to deal with spirits trying to get my attention my whole life. The problem is I don't really communicate with them that well, with earthbound spirits. Sometimes it's weird. I almost communicate with earthbound spirits better who have been here longer, like who've been here for 100 years or more, because their level is a little bit more ethereal. They're not as grounded in like still feeling alive. A lot of places that I've channeled well are spirits that have died about 100 years ago or more. I'm pretty good with that. But like, when spirits try to come and get my attention, even though I know I'm a channel, because of my gift being suppressed most of my life and because of my parents suppressing and everything else, I'm not really good at communicating with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have two air stelliums, and I'm actually always so busy communing with spirit, like it's in heavenly spirit. My vibration is so high up here that lowering it for earthbound spirits is not easy for me, you know? Um, I have a hard time paying attention to lower vibrations, which makes it easier for me to go into places that some people are scared of and actually find the sacred holy energy. A lot of places that seem dark really have just been disrespected, and there's a very ancient holy blessing on the place, and it was sacred and it's been desecrated, and it causes anger in very ancient spirits. Very dirty game you're playing. Now, back to the Ouija. Here's the thing. Some people say they have had no experience at Ouija that's bad. I actually heard about one when I was really young. I lived in West Texas. I was going to a private school, and these girls had talked about doing a Ouija on a grave. Crazy shit. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they didn't believe anything happened. I even remember they said the last name was Barrett, like Barrett, I think. And like, they didn't understand opening circles, closing circles, saying you can't follow me home or anything like that, right? And one of the girls got actually, like, when they got back to their house, sometime within like a 48-hour period, I want to say, she literally was physically picked up and assaulted and thrown across the room and hit the wall hard. Okay? Other people saw this that had done that. You don't want to mess around with that stuff. I'm sorry. You know, some people may have had no bad experience with a Ouija. My mom said she did it as a kid and nothing ever happened. But you don't know. You do it at the wrong time, at the wrong place. You know, I've heard some interpretations of demons aren't what we thought. A lot of times people say demons are like unearthly beings that were never human. But the word in the Bible that can be translated, at least this is what I was taught by someone who had, these translations when I was in private school years ago, means the wicked dead. Okay, there are people who were human spirits that are earthbound who are very, very evil, and the longer they're on the other side earthbound, they learn how to build up power and become demonic. As a matter of fact, a lot of hauntings that I've experienced and seen, I do have spirits sometimes that come to, as I can communicate with spirits better almost when they come to me in dreams or in astral. And I've even had a little ghost boy come to me when I was working for the ghost stores in Galveston, begging to be released. He showed me this building on Henley Row. It was by this old building. I want to say there's this Henley Row building, and then there's a parking lot that they turned into a park now, okay? And in the dream, I saw what the building looked like. It was like white with like these gray like overhangs in the windows and everything. And apparently it had been torn down in like a tornado or something, which is weird to have a freak tornado in Galveston, right? And anyway, the little child showed me, he was so cute and adorable. He almost had like paperboy like clothes on. And he even showed me like a paper thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like the guy was big, obese, handicapped, like in a wheelchair or something. This little boy said that this mean man collects the spirits of the children and won't let them go home to mommy and daddy. Okay. And I had been taught by another woman that, because I very rarely get to meet anyone that teaches me, but I take on what it is when I get the teacher, right? And she had told me that if I want to help people cross over as a channel to, a lot of people kind of say, well, come mentor me or something, which is creepy. But she says, remind them to go to their highest place. You know, tell them to remember their best, favoriteest memory, the thing in their life they loved the most. Like, what was your happiest moment, your happiest memories? And when you start to focus on that, the light will open again so you can pass through it and cross over. And so that's what I did for this little boy in the dream. And he went over, and I was amazed. And I had told another person working in the tours, he found a book in, I think it was called the Admiralty, some store in Galveston. I looked and looked online, couldn't find the building. Sure enough, the building looked exactly as I described it. And he found the man that owned the building. Sure enough, he was this obese, fat guy in a wheelchair and stuff. And there had been a lot of deaths and things in the area in the early 1900s. A lot of children were going missing. Apparently my ex-boss had even said that, like, across the street, they had actually found bodies in the walls where someone had been hiding children's bodies in the walls, okay? Anyway, the whole Ouija thing is kind of like a seance. You're inviting earthbound spirits in. Some of these earthbound spirits are extremely, extremely dangerous. I don't really want much to do with them most of the time. You know, I don't mind going to a location and channeling because I want to cross over those who are being victimized. I want to cross over and help those that need help. I have no interest in dealing with dark entities or negative entities, none whatsoever. And for people to assume that those of us who have tarot readers have evil spirits, and I've literally heard it come out of my own mother's mouth, the ignorance is astounding, guys. Okay, they are not the same. Now, can you use tarot to communicate with evil spirits or earthbound spirits if you want? I'm sure you can, but you can use it. It's like people said, you can use a book of Moby Dick the same way you can the Bible and just like open it up to a page and find a divination sentence that means something, right? The simple fact is the very things that Christ was accused of. He was constantly being told he had demons. He was working for Satan. His own family thought he was crazy. And he had to say, you know, my family now are those who listen to me. He just got sick of it, you know. And I am, you know, in no means saying that I am just like Jesus or anything. But what I am saying is that we collectively have the right to empower ourselves spiritually. And it is not the same thing as playing games with earthbound spirits we don't understand. Okay? You could choose to. You can use a tool or a, you know, any kind of thing any way you want. You can use a phone book if you want for divination or for contacting spirits, what have you. But they are not the same. And anyway, I just love going over this stuff because I want to break the misconceptions for those of you out there who may have questions about metaphysical things versus, you know, tampering with the paranormal and the supernatural. And also because, you know, and this is vital to our growth as a human race. As we enter the age of Aquarius, we have got to quit messing around with being mediocre spiritual babies. We've got to actually know our shit, don't we? We need to grow the F up, you know? Anyway, I do. I enjoy this so much. I love it. I know I want to do another video on, like I said, why I started doing tarot. Kind of how I broke free from that guilt and that shame and actually empowering myself. I think it was seeing the hypocrisy in my own family and realizing I had to do like Jesus did, and that is to step away from my family and do what I have been called by Spirit to do my whole life. You know, I mean, I've got so much in my natal chart that makes me an intuitive, a light worker, a healer, an empath, a psychic. Denying that, both of my kids, they have prophetic dreams. My son has gone through a lot of sleeping paralysis and astral attacks the way I did when I was young, and I had no help with that. You know, I do want to do some videos on that for people that are dealing with that. Anyway, I love you guys, and I bless you. Until next time.